Okay, call to order.
Beckwith,
Here.
Caldwell, absent. Farkapisi,
Here.
Ketman,
Here.
Kotsinis,
Here.
Linsdau,
Here.
Sutton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning. Is there going to be any public comment? Okay, I'll skip reading the description then. Correspondence?
Yes, we have no legal documents, but we have thank you cards from the WNPL staff, and we have the picture for the field.
And the real one is floating
The
around
real
too.
one
The
is-
real one, the big one, it's really nice. Yeah.
For everyone at home.
Okay, anyone need to remove anything from the consent agenda? All right, who will make a motion, please?
I will.
Kathleen, second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Awesome. President's report, page 37. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, anyone else have a report? Okay. Committee reports, 39 to 41. Anything there? Questions, comments?
I don't know if this is the right time. Do you have a time to put the update of what's going on with the audit proposals?
Yeah, I'll do it in the director's report. Yeah, I can give you an update.
Okay, anything else on committee reports? All right, then you're up. Brian.
Yeah, so with the audit, we sent out the RFPs, and all of the firms we sent them to there were 6 received them. We've heard back from all of them. We have 4 firms that are not interested because I just found out about 2 today, like literally today. But we do have 2, and I wish I had the firms in front of me, but 2, I believe they're going to submit a proposal. We don't know that for sure yet, but I'm confident. It's Dan with, I don't have the firm.
Let's not,
I think.
we can just keep.
Okay, anyway, yes, so that's where we're at. So I've been communicating with Andrea during the process, so I think Andrea is brainstorming on a plan B, but, if we get 2 proposals, hopefully they'll be good ones and we'll move forward, so.
So may I ask, are you still aiming for a finance committee meeting after the next committee? Oh, okay.
Because if we get proposals, we'll have to consider the proposals and make a recommendation to the board. And if we don't, we have to consider Plan B.
Okay, got
So,
it.
when I was calling business managers / directors to get who, in our initial phase, one of them had told me they had gotten no responses to their inquiries. So that's why we were following up with phone calls and making sure we got it to the correct person at each firm to hopefully get that. So if we get 2, and if not, we'll have to consider a Plan B.
Yeah.
So keep your fingers crossed, and
So you're wanting a finance committee meeting after this meeting or after next month?
after January 20th, which would be the next
Cow meeting, okay, and by then Ryan should have heard that.
Yeah, because the deadline is the 20th, so it's
Right.
this
Coming
week.
up.
It was
end of the week.
January 20th.
Yes. mhm.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Anything else?
The other thing I wanted to mention, I was at, Bob Doyle, who was the longtime executive director of the Illinois Library Association, retired, and there was a ceremony for him that I went to last week, a celebration. And I was, I knew a lot of people there, but I was meeting some people, and I'm introducing myself to a woman, and I say, I'm Ron Livergun from Warren Newport, and I show her my name tag, and she's like, that's my library. Well, It happened to be Carla Funk, who was head librarian number 2 in our history.
Anybody know her?
So I just thought that was really cool, and so I
Wow.
took my photo with her. And Jan at some point is going to put it on social media as we're celebrating the 45th anniversary, because it was what a coincidence.
Wow,
So
wow.
she's a very delightful woman, and just had a nice conversation with her, and it was nice. So just as a little thing I thought I'd mention. I just thought it was so neat. I was literally the day before looking at the history of the library and reading about individuals that helped start the library, and I thought to myself, I wonder what happened to some of these people. And
There
Joan
you
Wiltz
go.
is still a patron. She comes in, so he was the first head librarian. So I just thought that was really neat.
And she was
I
a
think she was
librarian?
right after Joan, isn't that
Head
right?
librarian?
Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
she came after
Yeah.
Joan.
Awesome.
And Joan left to be the head of adult services at the Waukegan Public Library, and when I got out of library school, she was my first boss.
Oh.
Super librarian too, Joan, and a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Anything else on the,
I have a question, actually. On the technology items, I noticed that the first phase of the network backup has started.
Mhm.
How is that working with our rather limited bandwidth in the library? Has there been any impact to that, or?
One of the things that we're doing right now, if you looked at the patron comments,
Oh, yeah.
there were a lot of comments about that, and we think maybe it was one person that wrote a lot of those comments, but still we take those seriously. So I talked to the IT staff about it, and Kevin and I have been talking, and one of the things that we're doing is looking at our network and doing some tests to make sure it's as optimal as possible. And one thing that we'll consider doing when we do the budget is we should look at cost too. Since this is an issue to, if necessary, to increase our bandwidth.
We're still at 50 megabit, correct?
Correct,
Yeah.
Okay.
which we've not
George,
reached,
what
by the
what
way.
would you like it to be?
That's a third of what I have at home, for the record.
Well, you're a unique person. in that.
Evan says we haven't even used all of it yet.
what does the average Joe have?
Comcast has actually just upped their home
Okay,
service
so-
to
I
25.
just got that last.
Okay.
So,
What is they up there?
25.
Wow.
And did you hear it when Kevin said we haven't used all of it yet?
Yes.
So,
Hmm.
Okay, anything else on this? Just one related thing, did everyone see the new news and notes that just went out that Ryan sent in your email?
Today?
About, no, it was
Last week.
the 9th, or I don't know when it was.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a week
It was
ago.
a while ago,
Yeah.
yeah.
a week ago.
So, that had to do with many libraries going fine-free,
Yes.
and we'll,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
yeah. And is there interest in putting that on an agenda? I think we should probably talk about that.
I think we should at least talk about it in committee of the whole.
It's,
Yeah, oh,
the
not here, I'm
calendar.
just asking for, yeah, okay.
it's going to be on, I already have it,
The policy?
fines and fees.
Oh, not fines and fees. I said some libraries are going fine-free, meaning
Oh,
they're not
I
charging
just said
fines.
fines and fees.
Yeah, well, actually, then that
Kinda
would
works
probably go
together.
away.
Together, yeah,
Yeah, that's a
they
good
do,
point.
yeah.
Or else be reduced a lot. Okay, anything else you want to say about your report?
I don't think so. Those are the major things happening. But it's it's a busy year. We're up to a busy start. That's going to happen in 2018. And you saw the memo about the party, the kickoff for the 45th anniversary. I mean, it's a celebration throughout the year, but it was disappointing. We had to evacuate the building as we were getting started. Needless to say, but on the bright side, patrons were understanding. Staff handled it really well. I mean, we got the building cleared very quickly, but so I thought, you got to look at the positives, right?
Sure.
And we ended up getting a great photo that day.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's
else.
really good.
And some people did stop by after, and some people, I ran into Nancy Sheldon in the parking lot. I had a nice conversation with her for a couple minutes. So, it wasn't all lost.
Obvious bonus, the library did not explode.
That's correct.
Well, that is the main point, I suppose.
Celebrated 45 years, and we're going to continue to celebrate.
Yeah, on the same
With our
site.
main building.
Without explosion.
Yeah,
That's right,
so-
no explosion.
But
Okay, so moving on to semi-annual review. So does everyone understand the cover memo and what this process is about? Any questions? So Tom and Bonnie did the review after the December regular board meeting and submitted the form. It's on page 56. And if someone would like to make a motion, that would be wonderful.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay, so what will happen next now is Bonnie will take these minutes, sign them, date them, make them public, and then they'll go to Gina, and she puts them in the public board archive, so if someone wants to see them, they can.
And the CD will be destroyed.
Yes,
the one that's-
yeah. In fact, maybe we could do that tonight.
Tonight,
Because
yeah.
that shredder in the back is
Is awesome.
awesome,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, board self-evaluation update. So Ann and I met, when was that exactly?
The day
Last
of
week?
the,
Oh, the day of the
Right.
45th gas explosion.
Anniversary, yeah.
Non-explosion.
right.
On the 10th.
Non-explosion.
So we went over the board self-evaluation, and we just decided that we're just gonna do paper and pencil, and we're gonna manage it, okay? So I'm just gonna
Thank
pass
you.
these
Don't you
around.
think that's a much more simple way to do
Well,
it?
I do, yes,
Thank
stuff with, yeah,
I think whatever
technology all
works for
day.
you
and it
is the
drives me nuts.
best.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm handing out the evaluation form, and I'm handing out with it a copy of what we said our goals were last year. And so thinking that maybe you might want to make some comments about that in the back part where there's comments. Comments really are what, I mean, the scores are fine, but the remarks are what I think we really use to make our goals. So be liberal with your
Time's up
comments,
here, so I
that's
guess.
very helpful.
And to whom do we return them?
I'm thinking if you would bring it back here with you to February Committee of the Whole, would that work?
Sure.
And then I'll just have a box and you can throw them all in there and I think we're just gonna divide them up and
Yeah.
try to do the math. And if I'm confused about the math, I will be calling you, Andrea. I don't think I am, but if I should have an issue, I will
could
call
bring my
you.
laptop.
Pardon me?
I could bring my laptop.
Okay, well, we'll
Is there
see. I think
any-
we can do it. Sue did it all by herself last year,
Is
so.
there anything you want us to put, so we number these rating scale A, U, S, R, N?
Yeah, just put the letters in there and we'll go from there.
Can we change them to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah, what I
So we
would
don't
do is
have
I
to
would make
translate-
N a 0, and I would make 4, 3, 2, 1 then.
One as always.
Because I'm not gonna deal with the 0, that's not gonna factor
Is that
in.
what you mean? One is always?
Yes.
So
One,
one is always.
2,
2, 3,
and
4,
then N
5.
is 0.
Is
No,
that
Wait a
right?
minute,
five.
N is 0?
There's
N
no
is-
5.
No
Never.
5.
Is that how I should do it, George, or should I leave that as a
Board
1?
Understands.
No,
and
make it a
agrees.
0, that makes it easier.
0, that
So,
means never.
so actually it would be
Zero.
0
0,
for
and
now.
then
Thank you.
the other way, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So always
One
be a
is
4.
always. Yeah, you've got it.
You said one
Right.
is always.
4 would be always.
4 is always.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
4 is always.
Yes.
Right.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
confused.
Never,
From
the
the top
number
to the
one is
bottom.
0, so then you
And then
start
up.
1, 2, 3,
We're
4.
getting a
Yes,
visual
from the
representation.
top to the bottom.
And-
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, that was opposite.
So that your highest score
I
means
did
that
it
you're
exactly
best.
opposite. Okay, hang on.
Always is 4, okay.
No, you
Okay.
did it exactly right.
There we go.
No, I
So it's
didn't.
the-
I
just
made
like this.
Oh, sorry.
A1, so that's
Okay, you're
4.
Usually
Imagine it's
sometimes.
A, B, C,
Really?
D.
And I'm wondering if
You.
I could I leave this at the desk for Tom and maybe he could pick it up?
Okay.
Would that work?
4, 3, 2, 1,
Yeah.
0.
I'll leave this
Okay, got
after.
And
it.
then you want a number of Toms too, so he knows what we're doing.
And I'll try to remember to send out a reminder for everyone to bring them. Okay?
Okay.
Any other input on that? Okay. Let's see, what did I have this on here for? Oh, Ann and I also worked on the update of the survey that we used to evaluate Ryan, and it is all edited and ready to go for next time.
Great,
Done.
next year.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was really helpful.
So you edited the performance evaluation for next time?
The survey, because remember when we had discussed that it would be more
Right.
helpful if we put on what,
Do we give Ryan a copy of it in
I
advance?
actually have it to give him at our
Okay,
meeting tomorrow.
that was my only question.
Yep, I'll be giving it to him tomorrow.
Because people should know how they're going to be.
Yes,
Actually,
absolutely.
That, right?
It's Thursday.
Yes.
Huh?
Thursday.
Sorry, but I
That's
might
good.
have it here. I can just give it to
Okay.
you. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Next is opt-in. I'm gonna let you talk about that.
Well, I don't know that I need to add to what's on, page 63. And there's many members of the management team here this evening that can add on to, the conversation we've had. But just to reset this, the board voted narrowly 4-3 to turn on patron history opt-in. And what this means is that if I'm a patron and I want to, so this happens a lot. So I'm reading a series, I'm reading the Jack Reacher series, and I can't remember, okay, have I read this one or haven't I read this one? So if I have if I opt in, if I say, yes, I want the system to keep track of my history of what I've checked out, and then I check out the latest Jack Reacher, and 5 years down the road, I don't remember if I've read it or not, I could go back and I can look at it. That's the whole idea. That's why patrons, I think, want this feature, because people read series and they forget what they've read. So from a, and that's what it's like I said in my memo. From a librarian point of view, I'm against it, but from an executive director point of view, knowing that the vast majority of our patrons want this, and this is something that we already offer with a lot of our services that we really can't take away. So patrons are already accustomed to it. Like I think, for example, I believe with My Media Mall with Overdrive, there's a patron history, which we couldn't turn that feature off if we wanted to. So it's something that our patrons already experience with some of our services anyway. So that being said, my recommendation to the board would be to just take no action tonight and allow us to move forward as the board voted previously.
Do new people understand why he says libraries are generally against this?
No, that was the
No.
question
Yeah.
on the desk. I
It's a
don't,
privacy issue.
Well, yeah, because one of the things,
Confidentiality.
yeah, basically one of the core values of librarianship,
Yeah.
generally speaking, is that protecting patron privacy and educating the public about why it's important. But that said, one of our core values in librarianship kind of goes against society today, right? Because we give up our privacy a lot, and there are benefits to it. There are also disadvantages, but for the most part, people will gladly, let people know what they're doing if it gives them, good suggestions for a product to buy or a book to read or that kind of thing. So.
Can I ask if, can it be, can law enforcement ask for those records?
I mean, they'd have to have
A
the
subpoena
With a
or something?
warrant, yes.
With a warrant.
Actually, I think under the Patriot Act, they don't need a warrant.
The federal government does not need a warrant, they can just
So the
send you a
Patriot,
national security
under the
letter.
Patriot Act, they can ask for records of what people are reading. It is my understanding, and that if we have the records, we have to turn them over.
I think
We don't have records.
patrons should know that then up front if we're gonna do this.
And
I
more
think.
importantly, we cannot tell the patron that record has been requested, if that is requested.
But if we somehow make sure that that's,
People-
I would wanna know that, not that I'm gonna be
Is there a
investigating
way to
something,
selectively
but-
turn it on for accounts that are adults and not minors?
No, I believe it's not that sophisticated. Unfortunately, it's when you turn it on. Yeah, because it would be nice, because this came up before. Can you match it to patron types? That would be great if you could. But my understanding is you can't. So you turn it on, and anyone can go in and opt into it. And once again, opt-in means that someone would intentionally have to go into their account and say, yes, I want the system to track my history. By default, the system does not.
It wouldn't, okay.
but other than governmental agencies, no one else can access, I can't access Bonnie's list, correct?
Right, and
So
staff
library
can't.
staff
Can't access it either. So even if I wanted to, even if you call me up, Kathleen, and say, "Hey, I opted in and I want to know what I checked out last year,"
There's no way
I can
they-
log in, even if I couldn't
Right,
tell you.
okay. So
So-
then I guess I'm confused about the privacy issue. Other than, again, outside agencies that have some clear,
Because they can't get the same information from the circulation system. The circulation system does not keep that information. So if someone, if it was only the circ system, if someone comes and says, what is Joe Beckwith checked out? The honest answer is we don't know. There's no way to find out.
And I might ask staff about this, but it's my understanding that if we were to enable this feature, and let's say there was the federal government came in with one of those documents and said, you have to give us this patron's information, I think the only person that really would retrieve it would be Amy Meyer, right? The system, administrator. She'd have to run a report. I don't think any of us know how to get into it, other than the system administrator.
And Amy.
Yeah, I don't even know that Amy knows. I think she would have to put in a request.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd have to research it, because she told us recently that she doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
She would have to call. and-
So it's not like someone could come in and it's like, just like we snap our fingers, we could get that information. We have to figure out how to get it.
And so for a minor, a parent couldn't ask for that?
They could.
They can because the parents typically have access to minors' accounts.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to think of all the
If I could-
ramifications.
Please.
That would be my concern. I mean, when I was rearing my children, I can tell you I spied in every part of their life that I could. I would search their phones. I considered it my job. But I'm also the type of parent who, if they're exploring something that I might not agree with, I would like to help them explore that. But there are other parents who may decide that they need counseling. If they're thinking about exploring something that they're curious about, or something that they may think affects them, and a parent, looks at their history and sees what kind of books they're checking out, may not have an open mind.
Exactly.
And
So then we're not really being able to protect what kids, specifically
No.
under 18s, check out.
well, and there are parents who encourage their children to explore, and there are parents who don't, so.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
speaking,
having- oh, go ahead.
sorry, what's making me ask this question is I have a student right now who's exploring a whole gender identity issue. He's 12, 13. And so I've asked him, have you talked to your parents about this? Not yet. I want to think about this on my own. So that's a privacy issue for that person. And, I don't know. I mean, it is, I would think, up to a parent to want to know that, but it's also his privacy. So I don't,
Right.
it's an ethical issue.
Can I just ask if Meg and Noreen want to say anything about this? Do you guys want to add to the
I
discussion?
think the management team felt so strongly about it, that after the last meeting, when you guys said you didn't want to do it, they asked, if they could write up why. And I think we kind of covered everything. We called all these other libraries. Only one library that I called doesn't do it. And I only called about 8. But I just think it's something people have asked for. I've been here a long time. They've asked for it for a long time. And we don't believe it's that easy, or, in other words, you'd have to have somebody's PIN in order to get into it, and their password. So I don't think it's a real issue at all. And I think that it is something that everybody who comes and asks for it does not understand why we can't give it to them. Because it's just their stuff, And it's not like we have, I think there was concern at one of the last meetings that staff would have access to this, but,
Okay, so did you want to add anything, Meg?
I think I would just say, I think all of us feel pretty strongly about, values of privacy and confidentiality. I think one of the things that strikes us is that a lot of this information isn't accessible in such a kind of efficient way, but it's still in the system in some way. We have a bullet point about kind of fine history.
Yeah.
That's kept. A parent at this point, anybody who's under 18, their parent has access to their account. So, the history obviously would allow them to see things that were checked out prior. But if those things were returned late, or if they're currently checked out, that information would be there already anyway. So, there's definitely some more information that we're gonna be holding on to, but a lot of that's already there, as we currently have it.
So, what do you want to do?
I would like a vote on it, because I would like to, once again, vote no.
No, for what?
No to
Mm.
to not make it available.
Mm.
I voted no before, and I would like to vote no again, and I'd like to see if there are other, are we voting to put it on the agenda, or are we voting?
No, it's on the agenda, and it's sort of a default thing. If we do nothing, people will get the option, that's correct, right?
Right, because.
Because we already voted to.
Right, that part I
Right.
get.
Yeah,
Right.
so we would have to vote to change that, to take that
I
back.
move to bring, I don't know exactly how to word this. Is it there?
No.
I move to take a new vote on the measure. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Can you clarify exactly what the
Yeah, what are we
vote
voting
means
on?
right now?
Why don't you just make the motion you want us to vote on?
Oh. George, can you do it and
How
I'll
about-
second it?
Yeah, how about I move that the Warren Newport Public Library not enable patron history in our circulation management system.
So seconded.
You need any further discussion?
I'll say what I said the first time. I know exactly how much data is kept on all of us. It is a frightening amount of information.
Mm-hmm.
Anything we can do to limit that even a little, I'm for. But I know our patrons want this. Sometimes we just have to educate people as to why it's a bad idea.
Well, but then you're playing, Big Brother kind of thing, and the idea that it's turned off unless they turn it on, makes me feel a little bit better. I thought it was an automatic thing.
What would we tell a patron why they are not able to do that? Because the trustees,
Support patron privacy.
okay.
Go ahead.
First of all, I see no constituents here tonight asking us to vote on this.
Mhm.
Yes. So it makes me question how strongly they feel about it. No one's here. Number two, there are plenty of other ways to keep track of what you've read. I can remember what I've read, but other people who can't, they could keep a list. This is not the only option. And number three, people never read the fine, it's a rare person. I won't say never, it is a rare person who reads the fine print. Oh, can you do this? Opt in? I opt in.
I will say, it is in the suggestion box with a pretty good frequency. It's one of the most frequently, there's a few that are asked a lot, and that is one of them.
Well, and I would think that the staff is the ones who hear about it,
Yeah. Anne, you haven't said anything.
I
know.
I'm not really, I think privacy is really important, so I'm not
What about, do
keen
you
on
wanna
opening this
say
up.
anything else?
No, I'm just gonna just add a couple of things, I think it's clear. Like I'm a little bit torn morally, but I think, like I said, the librarian of me absolutely doesn't want to offer it, but the executive director of me thinks that we should. And I'm in the position to at least play the other perspective here, so I'll do that. One thing that we didn't mention is the libraries that Noreen contacted. They indicated that this is something that they advertise that they do. We're not necessarily talking about like promoting this big time. This is something that if patrons ask about it, staff will say, yes, we do offer it. Here's how you can do it. Here's what you might want to consider before you opt in. As Bonnie pointed out, this is something that people opt into. So they have to decide. They have to make the conscious decision to opt into it. So I think, there is a small part of me that feels that we're not a small government body. We're a government body that we're basically telling the public in the community cafe. I asked this question. One of the community cafes are in the strategic plan about this. Would you like it if our catalog, if we kept your history? And about 80% of the room they thought that would be a great idea, and there were a very vocal 15-20% that were like, no, we think that's a bad idea. But a lot of people thought that was a great idea. So I think it's pretty clear with the feedback that we get that a lot of people really want it.
Did they say why they want it, Ryan?
Just like people want this.
Like forget what they
Yeah,
read? Or-
convenience is more important than privacy to them. They like
Especially
the
if
benefits.
people read the same authors or they read series books,
Yeah.
and this is a classic library question, give them what they want, give them what they need.
Yeah.
And, my first public library job, the children's librarian, no Hardy Boys, no Nancy Drew, no Choose Your Own Adventure. Why? Inferior literature. We're not having that.
See, and we
Okay,
serve
so
at the
that,
pleasure
but
of our
people want
patrons.
that. So this is not about the collection as much, but it is about a service. And
Yeah.
as
So-
Ryan says, it's kind of
Yeah,
not what the core
we're-
value is of
Right, and
librarians.
it would be this would be a government body, albeit a small one, saying, we know the majority of you want this, but no, you can't have it. And you're in the unique position where you can make that decision, and if you feel strongly enough that that's the way to go, then that's more power to you. But it is a complex issue, and I think everyone here understands both sides of the issue. And there's probably, there's a lot of gray there, clearly, so.
Anybody have anything else? Could you read the motion again?
That the board, that WNPL not enable patron history in our circulation information system. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you vote aye, you're voting not to give people this option.
In our information system. So that
Circulation.
means the
Circulation system.
circulation stuff.
And did you remember the memo that some of the systems we have, My Media Mall and
Keep it in
Hoopla,
there.
they have it in there, we have no control over that. So they're getting it in this slice, but not in what's in the library. Anything else people want to add? Okay, let's have a roll call.
Linsdale,
Abstain.
Sutton,
I know, aye is for what?
Yeah.
I means
Not
to opt
enable.
out of
Is
it.
to stop doing it,
Yes, you don't offer the option.
Continue to not.
not offer it,
Right.
okay.
I want to offer it.
So
I
say,
do.
okay, so you say nay.
nay. Ketman,
Nay.
Caldwell, absent. Kotsinis,
Aye.
Farkapisi,
Aye.
Oh, boy,
Beckwith,
Joe.
Which is the one to offer it?
Nay is the one to offer
Nay.
it.
Nay.
nays have it.
Oh, boy. It's a hard one.
This was like I think I voted the other way last time too. I think this is how it came out last time, very close, right?
You know,
Yeah, it's close, 4 to
I
3.
still feel like
How,
we have to
how,
serve our
how much is it requested?
Although I should
Well-
point out, she's already voted, I don't know if she would want to change her vote. You're only supposed to abstain when you have a conflict. It's not because you don't want to vote. Wasn't that something that?
She hasn't
Okay.
She hasn't
No,
come
a
I don't
conflict of what you
necessarily
wanna
think
choose.
that's true. I think it's any person's option to abstain if they,
I just I'm not sure I know enough to make a vote one way or the other.
Yeah, I think we heard two compelling arguments.
Mhm.
And I almost wish that we had put this vote off until another time so that I would have time to mull those two compelling arguments over.
You could have suggested that.
I just could have, yeah. You know,
Okay.
what's done is done.
it's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll move on. Okay.
Well, should we bring it up again when people
No.
have
Voted.
time?
No,
Once
we're
people
done.
opt out-
Okay, fine.
That's okay, we're not gonna do
You can't give them
that.
something and then take it away then.
No, let's just move on. This is what we do. Not everyone gets their way, and we just have to move on and respect the
Ethical
decision.
questions
No one said it was going to be easy to be a
Easy.
board member,
Yeah.
because it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, don't, yeah.
And for the record, I'd see the other side of this argument as well.
We all do. That's what makes it
Yep,
hard.
that's a
That's what makes a
ethical
person want to
conundrum.
abstain, is because you can
Yeah,
see both
I can
sides.
see both sides,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm a Libra.
All right, let's go on to the ordinance.
Okay.
To the what?
Ordinance.
The ordinance. Who would like to make a motion?
Oh, where are we here?
It's page
What page
is it on?
67. Sorry, I'm kind of
67.
discombobulated.
Where are we?
Okay.
I move that we adopt ordinance 2017-2018-7, an ordinance abating bond debt service levy for the year 2017.
I'll second.
I
Oh,
second.
Oh, we all.
go ahead. Pick somebody else.
Bonnie?
I think it was Bonnie.
Bonnie, okay.
Discussion. Okay, let's have a roll call.
Farkapisi,
Aye.
Caldwell, absent. Sutton,
Aye.
Ketman,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Linsdale,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
ayes have it.
All right. Items for next month.
I wanted to ask about something that's on the items for next month, and this is something we asked about last time, the mid-year financial report that's here.
Yeah.
I wanted to get, and this is something that I asked last year, and the board did want to have the mid-year financial report, but talking about this with Doug Weiderberg, since the board has a really good handle on, what's going on each month with the monthly financial reports that you receive. And Doug feels it's a little bit redundant to provide a report, and I kind of do too. The board may not feel that way, and if you get use out of that, out of having our business manager here and answering questions, then that's fine. But I just want to make sure it's a good use of the board's time. So what do you think?
I think it's kind of redundant too. With Andrea here and what Doug provides every month is so thorough. I'm happy to look at it, but I think it's a lot of work, and we're already having a pretty good understanding of it with a monthly report. What do other people think?
I agree.
I think he's still available, should we have a
Oh,
question
yeah.
about
Yeah.
anything.
And he'll certainly be.
He's good at responding.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay.
Everyone good with that?
Yeah.
I hear C nodding, okay. Public forum? Okay. 45th anniversary. Anybody have any other announcements? What else did you want?
Oh, I just wanted to mention there's the ILA trustee forum workshop, which you might want to consider. I think we need to look at the budget to see what's there for this, but it looks like it's a pretty good workshop in terms of what the topics that are covered. And then
What are the topics?
Everybody has a form.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Like,
green
Yeah,
sheet.
green
the
sheet.
green
So
part.
advocacy
green
boot camp, and Jamie LaRue is really brilliant, so he would be worth spending the morning with. And then there's a legislative update, and then a legal Q&A, which is always beneficial.
Oh, it's not
Um,
Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Phil's retiring or in the
Oh, is he?
process of retiring. Then the other thing is the President's Day Library Legislative Breakfast, which is a great event. Usually all our state reps and senators are there, and also some, I think Congressman Schneider was there last year, maybe a few others. So it's a great event to attend, and it's great because
Does anyone else
it's.
think they can go to that presidential or President's Day breakfast?
So it's a morning?
On
Is
a,
that right?
yeah,
It's a
on a
breakfast?
Monday.
And it's not necessarily about like
I'd like to go.
advocating for library issues, although that's part of it. But
Buffalo
what's great about it
Friday.
is you learn a lot about
I
what's
might be
going
able to
on.
go.
Yeah, so I'd encourage.
Might be able to go down.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
because I've
Yeah,
gone the
I need
last
to
few
check
years,
with
and
it.
it makes me not, I have to not go to work.
So,
So,
same with me, that's what
Yeah.
I'd have to.
I do have the day
that's
off of work that day, but I'm not sure what
okay.
else is going on.
It would be
You'd like
nice
it. It's-
if other people could
Oh, wait, that is-
go, so if you could all think
I mean,
about
it's a
it.
really nice event.
Yeah, it's a really nice
And you
event.
learn a-
Last year, Bob Doyle talked, it was really interesting, and I'm assuming the new ILA
Yes.
person will be there
You-
this year, that would be interesting.
You learn a lot, and you have great access
It's
to our
President's
elected
Day. I think
representatives. They're generally all there, or at least someone from their office is
I
there.
can
So,
go, I think.
I might be
Okay.
able to, I just have to check my school calendar, I'm not sure if I'm.
so maybe 3.
Maybe.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Anne is a yes, maybe Bonnie,
Maybe
maybe
me, I just have to check my
George.
school stuff.
Cool. All right, then I'll get to go to work.
Just in Buffalo Grove, yeah.
Okay, anybody else have an announcement? Oh, Nori?
I should have said this in public comment. I just want to let you know that we'll be bringing to you a policy to change this, but we've got the 3 telescopes and they're amazing. And we will be circling them as soon as you guys vote on the how long they go out and all that stuff. We have it already, so they're very cool.
And our fines and fees too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, anybody else?
The Friends of the Library meeting is not at 1, it's at 1:30.
Oh, okay.
1:30.
I just wanted to say, I already have in place the policies for February. After a few missteps, thank you to Joe and Ryan and Gina for your patience. And I was communicating with Noreen today about some staff policies I'd like to get started with. And she gave me a list that we would like to do in February of 4. Now, the ones that had already been earmarked are done, so those are finished. So I was going to add those 4. It would make a total of 7, but they're all pretty easy, cut and dry. Does anybody have a problem with doing 7 next month?
I say go for it.
Yeah, if that
Let's
seems
try
pretty
it.
easy,
If we
let's.
run out of time, we can always.
We can
Yes.
postpone one or two,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, good.
Good to
Thank
go.
you, Noreen, for your help today.
Okay, you have anything else you want?
I don't think so. I feel like maybe there's something missing, but I can't think of what it is.
Okay, anyone want to move to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7:41?
7:41. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow,
Great,
okay.
thank you.
Very good. All right, now